Let's watch John modify the B-pillar to the 1967 configuration.
All right, let's take a look at this B-pillar. This is the original 67, and notice it's got one step here, and then it smooths the baby's ass all the way down. If you look at the replacement panels you get these days, I'll try to get some lighting that will help. And that ain't working. Maybe there, I'll rest it against the other one. But notice we've got, of course, the holes here. And then there's that right there. That would be where we go from that to the step. The step right here is right here. Okay, so it goes from this plane, it bumps out about 1/4 inch to this plane, which would be this plane. And then on that one, it just goes whoop, all the way down to here. Whereas this one is here the same. That edge is the same. But you can see through the shadow, there's a crease where it's pushed in. And again, on the newer models, there's a bracket that kind of goes here. And then on the door, there's a knob that when you close the door, it fits into that bracket and makes it just a more rigid structure. Definitely safer, but again, I'm trying to make this a 67 and with its quirks and then whatever. And then you can clearly see that there's a bend here. So it's been, at this high point, it gets pushed in, okay? And then it resumes this level here, which is about here. So I was thinking I can cut this out, right? Kind of what you're seeing on these lines, and put in a plate. But then I got the noodle in it and thinking, well, what if I just cut along that edge and along this edge here, this crease here, and then along here, and then just bend this flap up and this flap up, and then weld it back along that seam and that seam, and then this seam. Or actually, no, there wouldn't be a seam. I wouldn't cut it here because I'll just bang this flap up to be parallel to this area here. And similarly with this, bend it up along that edge and end up with something. So I'll try that, and if it all goes wrong, the worst thing can happen is it all goes wrong, right? And then what I'll do is just cut it out and then just weld in a plate here. But first thing I'll do is try to use what's here and just bend it up flat. Let's see how that goes. All right, so here's the panel with those cuts I was talking about. If I flip it over, you can see better the contour that's in it. You can see the shadows. So I'm thinking if I can just pound these until this is all just a continuous surface, I'm good to go. And then just put a bead weld along the edges. Let's see how it goes. Just one more thing to point out before I start beating on this. If we look at this inner edge here, you can see that here's my step that I keep, right? So from here to here is my step. You'll notice that on this flange corner, it is a continuous fillet corner coming across here and then all the way down. So they maintained that geometry on this new panel. It's only on this side that they brought this in, they bent this in here and here. actually made kind of a diamond shape right here. So yeah, so I don't have to mess with that. I get to keep that as it is and actually use it to help keep this thing stiff. But at the end of the day, this will come across to meet up with here. Right? You'll see it kind of come across here. So I'll eventually have to, you know, cut away this triangular piece right here. All right, let's see how that goes. That's the principle. So in this light, ooh, you can really see the diamond that I'm talking about just to the right of my thumb because I'm holding the camera. It's not a diamond, it's a triangle, but you can see how pronounced that is between the different levels. So when I start banging on this, it is going to deform the area because again, you're pounding it and compressing all that metal in on itself. I might need to make another relief cut along those two edges that you see there. I think I'm gonna do that because that is really pronounced. And then when I'm done pounding, they'll actually be overlapping each other, and then I can just make, you know, one more like slit cut and then weld along that. So I'm gonna make another two small relief cuts along those pronounced edges that you see there. All right, so there's those two relief cuts I put in right along the apexes. This thing is gonna flatten out very easily now because I'm not fighting anything except this slight radius here. And that cut was okay. I could get it with the angle grinder cutting disc. That was a bitch. I had to resort to this guy here to get it in there. And I'm trying out this thing. It seems to be okay. The teeth don't hold up that well when you're cutting metal, but you know, did what I needed to do here. So now let's start banging on this and see if we can get this to be roughly one flat piece. Again, I will have overlap where these parts, you know, start to fold on top of each other. And I for sure will have one along here, so I'm gonna have to remove some material at some point.
So far, it looks like the project is coming along just fine.
Start with a softer blow. Now we gotta get harder. All right, so how's it looking? Check my camera here. So you can see that over here, as these got bent down, you know, it's showing what I'm gonna have to cut away, right? That triangular piece I told you about. And you can see that as you flatten these together, the seam is eliminating, right? And when I get these things to flat, I'm sure I'll have to make another relief cut back through here to keep everything kind of neutral. Because right now the deformation of the metal is minimized right now. And then here, these cuts closed up a little bit, but you know, that's basically flat now. So I'm gonna have to go to a metal hammer to just get this more flat through here. And then I think it's successful. You can see the shadow lines here. So there's that end of that step, right, the start of it. And then this edge has been maintained. I haven't touched that. And then once this is welded along here and this triangle is cut off, like that, there's our 78 to 67 B-pillar conversion. So backstage, I opened that gap back up, leaf cut, and I just did a rudimentary cut of trimming off that triangular apex that was left behind. So you can start to see how, you know, just simple pressure, bending these plates back. I have achieved my flatness from this area, continuing on through here up to where it finally does ramp at this corner up to this plane. So I would consider this a success. And so the next step is a little more flattening, a little more pounding, and then just bead welding the seam back up and grinding for aesthetics. So we'll do that. All right, so I have prepped it. I went and checked it against the other one, and I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to bead weld this, and I'm going to do it from the back, because I'm a crappy welder. So that will leave the bulk of the weld behind it out of sight, because this is the side you see. I mean, for sure I'm going to end up doing some Bondo-ish thing in here to just make this not seamless, but yeah, seamless. So you can't tell that anything ever happened here. And there you have a genuine 1967 B-pillar.
Another task off the list. Thanks for watching. Come back soon.